and welcome to the Gers TV. My name's Si Leslie.
I'm Gordon. Hello.
Right, give me a few seconds, Gordon. I'll get the graphics done. Do you want to read out the topics for tonight's conversation?
Yeah, of course, yes.
What's the chat?
It's an absolute jam-packed show, as you'll be pleased to know. Quite a few topics. We're going to have a look back at the victory against Hibs at the weekend. We're then going to discuss the benefits or drawbacks of having alcohol at the football. We've got the little matter of the Europa League game against Lyon on Thursday night in a couple of days' time. We've got the late kick-off against St Johnstone on Sunday, and we've got some squad news today with Hadji signing a new contract after a long drawn out to and fro, shall we say, with the manager, the board and the player and the agent.
So, loads happening. Before we start, guys, I'm going to put the question out for the debate tonight. Is, do we get the bevy back to the football? What do you think, Gordy? That's the most important thing we're going to talk about. First of all, I think to me, it's not going to happen no matter what we think. I don't see it changing. Just give me a wee second to make sure we're on here.
Certainly can't see it on all firm days, but I think that so the St Johnstone were taken over by an American businessman last year, and they've certainly launched it as an idea, and they're quite keen on it. And I know that every football club in Scotland will be desperate for it, for the revenue it will bring in. That's
true. There's obviously corporate just now. This is the thing, that the argument, corporate's allowed to have a wee drink, and if you're a working class fan and you're just at the game, you're not allowed to drink, and I don't think that's really fair. So before we start, if you can let us know your opinion on this by putting, if you agree with bringing the booze back to the football. So I've just checked it. If you agree with bringing the booze back to the football, can you just give us a beer sign on the messages, or a wine? Or if you don't agree with it, put the thumbs down, and that gives us an idea what exactly is happening. What's the state of play regarding the booze back at the football? So that's the first thing. And then we'll give you their opinion on it. 2 seconds, I'm just checking something myself here. Aye, we're all good. Guys, we're live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and also our Facebook group as well. So if you could do us a wee favour and share, that would be fantastic. That would be a big help for us. Right, Gordy, let's talk about the famous Glasgow Rangers.
We'll get started and we'll look back on the eventual 1-0 victory over Hibs on Sunday side. So we had a lineup. What do you think of the lineup first of all? So just run through it for you quickly just to refresh you.
Give us that.
We had Butland in goals, Yefty and Tav on either side of the defence. We had Suter and Proper in the middle. Then we had a midfield of Raskin and Conor Barron. And then we had Tom Lawrence in the middle, and we had Cherney and McCausland starting. And then we had Ejaman up front.
Well, on plenty of occasions this season, and then the last season we complained, I did anyway, that we had picked the wrong starting 11. I was quite happy with that starting 11. I think it's very important that we get this defence staying together and sticking to our guns on it. I would say that there wasn't many surprises. Raskin, maybe. I think it's definitely with the way the season's going, it's going to be a game of, it's going to be about squads more than teams. I was more than happy with the defence. I think Jeffy is probably my left back. I think he's a foreign player in that position. Suter and Proper are slowly forming a partnership that I really like. Midfield, it's changing a wee bit. I think we'll get to that later on when we talk about Hadji. And up front, no, the pronunciation's now changed. I think it's Ignam. Is the name of him?
It's went from Ijamani to Ishman, and now we're doing again.
I'm going Ignam because that's what I feel all day to day.
Okay.
So that wasn't a surprise. I think Dessers deserved it to get a break, but it didn't come back the way we expected it to be, and they brought Dessers on. Maybe Ignam will be an impact player. I really don't know. However, I thought he got his team spot on at the start.
Yeah, I mean, it was good to see Ishmani. I'm going to call him Ishmani until I hear differently, officially, from official sources. Not that saying you're not Si, of course.
So, I just heard it today and I thought, it sounds
it was good to see him starting, and it was good to see Raskin come back as well and get a start. I don't know what's happened to Raskin, because when he first came into Rangers, He was I thought he was very good player. I remember his first game. His debut was in the Scottish Cup, I believe, against Celtic, possibly last a year and a half ago now, roughly. I don't know. I could be wrong on that. I'm sure you'll correct me if I am.
I'm a fan.
But
I like him.
I was a big fan when he came in. I thought he was dynamic. I thought he'd put his tackles in, and I thought he was really effective. However, it's just a little bit frustrating because I don't think he's hit the heights that he's hit when he first came in, and I actually think he's maybe got a bit of pressure on to save his Rangers career now.
I think I think if they get an offer in January, I think he's Offski, and the reason for that is I agree with you. I don't think he's progressed in any manner that's going to benefit him.
I mean, I just think he looks a little bit out of place in the Rangers team just now. I think Barron's obviously come in and done really well, and so he's not going to get dropped. And then I just don't know if he wants to, because Raskin's quite a defence-minded midfielder as well. So I don't know. I actually think his favourite two in midfield is Diomande and Barron.
No, I think that as well, but I don't think Diomande's fit. I think that series he was out. But in an ideal world, that's who I think he would rather play. Again, up front, there's a comment came in here. Mark Aitken's mentioned the TV fixtures. We'll all mention him at some point. Josh White saying, I found it shocking that our strikers rarely hold the ball against Hibs. Tierney was decent at spells, but overall wasn't too pleased.
Yeah, some good points. How you doing, Josh? Hope you're well.
I'm a bit worried about the Tierney scenario because I'm slowly starting to think he might not make it with Rangers, and I know it's early doors. The fans, first of all, Gordy, I think you'll have an opinion. I don't know your opinion on it, but I don't think it's a good idea to gesture to the fans, even if you're having a bad game. I've seen it through the years. Cammy Fraser famously done it in the 80s. There's only going to be one winner when you do that.
Yeah, I think Ibrox could be volatile enough getting on players back sometimes. You look at the TAF situation without the players actively encouraging it. What I would say, Si, on that note in Cherney, if you look back, I've said this right from the get-go with Cherney, I've not been overly impressed with him. He's had some decent touches, and he's had, obviously, he's assist away in key for Tedesco's equaliser. I mean, a good goal against Motherwell. But apart from that, I've not really seen enough of him to show that he's going to be a great player. And what I was thinking the other day at the weekend was, see when you bring in these loan players, that are only here for a short term, maybe a short term move. If Cherney's got no intention of moving here permanently, is that a right fit for Rangers?
Well, I think you're right. I'm hearing the term a one-trick pony. I think you've got a chance that he won't be a one-trick pony if you move him to the other wing. I think he may be more suited.
Well, I always thought he was a left-sided player.
Well, he's a left-footed player, but apparently this is a new thing with football now, as the left-footed players play in the right wing, but when he can cut in. But the Scottish players already, Scottish League have sussed him out.
I mean, it's a difficult one for him as well because he's got Tav in his side as well, and Tav likes to bomb forward. I don't know if a lot of time you see Tav ahead of Cherney when it should be the other way about. So I think those two have got to sort out their chemistry and sort out their cohesion. You could,
in defence of Cherney, you could say that if Tav was in better form and in that position you're talking about, it would be better for him. For an argument's sake, the way that Jeffrey's playing on the left would suit the overlap, would certainly suit him. But my opinion on it is, right now, McCausland is the on-form winger. Wingers don't always stymie for him. McCausland's on-form winger, and I would have played McCausland the full game. But that didn't happen.
Just come back to your point about the overlap. I mean, that's something we spoke about on our rating show for the Spotify channel. That perhaps Cherney is missing out because he's not getting the overlap, and Tav's not in good form at the moment. So that's something that we've spoke about and we agree with, and it's a very good and valid point.
Well, for an example, Tavernier and the Candyman Candace, when the two of them combined together, it was a great combination.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was an exceptional combination, and it worked really well, and it was excellent at times. Going back to something that Josh White said as well, regarding our centre forwards not holding the ball up. I think that's a valid point on Sunday with each man, because not a lot of Rangers attacks seem to stick, and apart from Lawrence's wonder goal and Ijimani's one shot for Ijimani and then a couple of proper headers, I can't really remember us peppering their box, or there was actually a spell for 20 minutes second half where we couldn't get our own half.
Aye.
So it was disappointing in that sense.
Well, I would even go as far to say is, because we always try to be honest on the show, is Hibs probably deserved the point.
Yeah, I mean, on a better day they could have scored a couple. I think Butland in the first half made a couple of good. Well, obviously we get to the penalty in the second. I mean, a great save, the penalty, another couple of saves, and then the second half. I don't think they had many shots on targets, but they had a couple of headers that were just wide, and they threatened quite a lot as well. But it was good to see Suter and Proper from their bodies on the line. That's not something you've seen a Rangers defender do for a while.
Well, I'll go to obviously the penalty incident. When you're going to play the game the way Suter does, and we've been crying out for this for a couple of seasons, that to get yourself and make it hard for to beat and to defend your goalkeeper, then sometimes the ball's going to hit you in the hand. It was a penalty, I think, first of all, but what I will say with it is the way that Suter's playing now is when we first signed him for Hearts, that's the kind of player we wanted. He's now playing in the correct position, and I definitely think Suter and Proper complement each other.
Yeah, I mean, I just come back. I mean, I think Philip Clon came out and said it wasn't a penalty, which was refreshing to hear. I mean, there's managers actually defend his player after the game and talk about the referees, etc. I'll be honest, when I seen it back, I thought it was a definite penalty. Yes, there's an argument, where to put your hands, but I think if it happened at Celtic Park with a minute to go and we're going 0-0, let's not be hypocrites, we'd be screaming for a penalty.
The thing about it, you're right, Gordy. Clement has been vocal in defending referees all season and last season, and he's also been a big fan of VAR. So it's not as if he's been a bad loser. We won the game and he's called it out. However, I think he was wrong. I think the overreaction for the social media was ridiculous. I want a Rangers manager to be passionate. If that's how he feels he wants to be passionate, with doing the can or whatever, it's a bit funny, aye, but do you know what? The guy seemed to care about the decision, and we need more passion for him. So I was quite happy that he came out and said his opinion, but I don't agree. When I look, and that's only after I look at it. At the game, I didn't think it was a penalty, but in hindsight, which is a wonderful thing, I don't know if I would imagine he did have that and he watched it back, but I think it was a penalty, to be fair.
I mean, there's an argument to be said, when you're trying to block the ball, where do you put your hands, and you can only move your hands so much because we're human beings and we've got a natural action, and it's instinct to defend your face when you're trying to block something, I guess. But at the same time, I go back to if we're drawn at Pittodrie in a few weeks' time, or
of course,
Celtic Park in 3 or 4 months' time, it's a cup final, a minute to go, and that happens, we are screaming out for penalties.
I think the reason he was angry, now I haven't heard the press conference, I've just seen some of the memes and I heard the clips here. I think the reason he's angry, right, I don't want to get in the paranoia stage, but the one at Celtic Park a couple of weeks ago with Hearts is probably what he's comparing it against, right? I do think it was a penalty for Hibs, and I think they deserved it.
I think he is comparing that, but just I don't really buy this argument, because one thing's not something, and that
that's what I'm saying.
The other isn't as well. Look, it is what it is.
It's passion as well, but he's under pressure. He's maybe just get carried away.
It was good though. So Butland obviously makes a great save. I didn't think it was a great penalty, but
it's a strange penalty.
The thing is, if Butland dies the wrong way, then it's a goal.
So let's get this myth out of the way as well, right? The rules changed last season, so there was a player encroaching in the box, Rangers player, and all over social media are saying it's a retake. But that rule changed. As long as you're not interfering with the play, you're allowed to do that. So there was nothing wrong with the penalty in terms of legitimacy. It was just a shit penalty. I watch it and I think, is he trying to be too clever, or did he just panic, or was it a great save?
He takes. I could be wrong here, but I say this after most things I say these days. But unfortunately, I get so much in my mind. But I think he takes a break. He runs and then stops and then runs again. So he breaks up his run, and I think that's always a mistake, taking a penalty.
But see, just in between that, I don't think he looks up.
No, so he tries to give Butland in the eyes, I think, at first, then he stops, and then Butland makes a penalty. The issue is, I mean, if Butland dives the wrong way, then it's a goal.
Aye.
Right? So Butland's read the move, read the kick, and dived the right way. So you need to give, irrespective of whether a good penalty is a bad penalty, Butland it's on target. So Butland's read the...
His positional play was great.
So he's read it, and he's dived the right way, and he's made the save, and he's head onto the ball. So it was a poor penalty, but at the end of the day, it's still a good save, because he has to go the right way.
Aye. The thing I said before, it probably makes Rangers supporters probably say that he tends not to save penalties. So I was like, he doesn't save many, I don't see him saving it, and then he proved me wrong, he went up the park and saved it. So fair play with that. I'm just fixing the comments here, sorry.
That's all right. So I thought defence played well. I didn't think Tav had a great game again. Unfortunately, I thought Tav was probably out of the four defenders probably played the poorest. I still think there's some. I don't think Tav at this moment in time is. I just don't think he's feeling right. I still think that the abuse he got after the game at Celtic 4 or 5 weeks ago is still in his mind. I think he's scared of making a mistake.
Aye, I think his heart's set on moving to maybe an easier, less the good life and the easy life, which he probably deserves. We signed him many years ago. However, Thursday night, which we'll talk about later on, if he scores any time in the game, he equals Alan McCoy's goal scoring record in Europe. Now, Gordy, if somebody had said to you when we were first signing a right back from England and one of the lower teams would equal Rangers' greatest ever striker in Europe, you would have bit a hand off him for a bit. It's some achievement.
Absolutely, yeah, it's an amazing achievement, and that's what I was saying. Like when you criticise, you have to praise as well, and you have to take the player as a whole. You can't just criticise one aspect of his play. You need to take his overall performances. You need to take his contributions. You need to take the negatives and the positives, and you need to give an overall balanced opinion. And on the whole, I think he's been a good player for Rangers. I don't think he's been, if you take away some of the mistakes, etc., I don't unfortunately think he's been a great player, but I think overall he's been a good player, and he's scored some vital goals. There's absolutely no doubt about that. If you think about the runs in Europe we've had in the last 4 or 5 years, his goals have been at the very heart of that.
100%. I would like to see him getting it, just because of that reason, Gordy. I would like to see him getting the record. If you look back, history will change the Tavernier scenario in the story. When you look back in history, you'll say he took us to a European final and he got us back up the leagues. I think you're right. I think the decision needs to be made to drop him, and it's a massive decision because let's be honest here, see if he drops him when we start losing games, people then jump in, you've dropped your captain. So he's got to get it right. He's got to get it right.
How long do you, because he's not played well for a few weeks now, so how long do you leave it before you do drop him? And if you don't drop him, what signal does that give to the other players that you are dropping?
It's a massive decision. I don't know the answer. To be honest with you, I don't know the answer. I think he's got to take a chance and just rope him. And you've got the perfect scenario of bringing in my opinion, bringing in Sterling and putting Sterling in his natural position. Because he's always boasting, the manager talks a lot about Sterling, how much he likes him, but he's playing him out of position. It brings me back all day to the Suter scenario. Suter played all that time with Rangers out of position. Now, you know what it's like with a hard crowd to please?
Yep.
Play somebody in the right position and then you can judge them. And I think the defence is almost there. Now, praise is where, first thing with the praise, you mentioned but you're happy with the defence apart from the Tavernier scenario. If we can fix it right back, we are getting clean sheets. Now, Suter, one of the reasons it's a penalty is the ball's going in the net, so he stopped a goal for going in. So that's the first thing you've got to say, right? But the other thing about that is we're trying to keep clean sheets, and sometimes you've got to make sacrifices. You've got to sell in the way. The whole defence seem to be working for each other now, and they're being glued together with the captain. I just think his legs are gone. I think his mind's finished.
You've got to give Tav credit for the fact that he is still part of a defence that's not lost a goal in 4 games.
Yeah.
And so, you've got to give him his due, you've got to give him his credit for that, because at the end of the day, it's not easy to keep 4 clean sheets in a row, and one of those games is in Europe. So,
and if we'd have lost, if we'd have lost, if Hibs had equalised, I don't think we'd have came back for it the way the game went.
Well, I'm just about to go into that. So that's a defence. So Connor Barron, Ryan and I, we discussed this briefly as well. It seems that Barron's doing the kind of work or two in at the moment as well in midfield. I don't think Raskan played particularly great, and Barron's got a lot of energy, but I'm worrying that he's going to start. He might burn out.
Right, so a couple of points on that I want to make, because I do agree with you and I disagree with you as well. First of all, we've been saying for ages that Connor Barron needs somebody with experience to play beside him, and we'll talk about Hadji soon, but I think that'll be the man that could help him out there.
You're wearing those glasses again.
Aye.
Those hindsight glasses.
I think that could be the decision to get him, because it was all about money apparently, if the deal now is true that it's been settled. But let's go back to Barron for a minute. There's been a few games where he's not been 100% and the support have been on his back a wee bit. I think he's a young lad that's got so much potential, Gordy. I also like his attitude. he goes in for every ball. He's a wee bit like a young Stuart McCall. We've mentioned that before.
Why don't we? So we thought, So we're going to talk about Hadji. Sorry, I thought you were talking about Hadji.
No, Barron. Barron.
No, you're absolutely right, mate. You're absolutely spot on with that comparison. I see a lot to like about Barron, and I think that's a fair comparison to make.
But he needs somebody with him. That midfield is. I think we're one midfielder away from having a good midfield, and that's including Diamondi playing. And we'll talk about Hadji in a minute, but I think with Hadji in, it'll make Barron a better player. But I thought Barron was outstanding at the weekend again.
Yeah, he's done very, very well, and it's weird because he wasn't always first choice for Aberdeen, so he's come into the team and he's been doing really, really well. And you've got to take your hat off to him because it's not easy. It's not easy to play up in Aberdeen and then come to a team like Rangers and he's slotted. It's almost as if he's been there for a couple of years.
Well, there's another thing I seen a couple of months ago as well, as I don't think he does social media and stuff like that. It was when they were talking about the Cantwell stuff, and he's a kind of young boy that'll do his talking on the park. I like his attitude, and it reminds me of an old style football player.
Yeah. There's a comment there, Josh is writing about Conor Barron, I think.
Barron runs about like a headless chicken. He's been good for us in every other challenge, but he runs himself into the ground too quickly, in my opinion. I think there's two reasons for that. Gordy alluded to it a second ago, Josh. First reason for that is he's not got anybody covering them. It's as if we've got a man missing in midfield, don't we?
Yeah, so he seems to be covering the ground of two people. I was thinking it's a little bit harsh, Josh, I respect you in that, but I think it's a little bit harsh to say that he's running about a headless chicken, but I think he is getting pulled about a little bit because he's trying to maybe cover defensively for Diamandi. He had to cover for Raskin on Sunday as well, so I think there's a method to his madness, but yeah, I said a minute ago to Si there, possibly he might start firing out pretty soon. Yeah,
but I mean, I'm not comparing the players here, but we had a young player called Gattuso that played for us. You'll all remember him. Gattuso ran about like a headless chicken, but you know what? It worked. It worked because he had so much passion and he won tackles. The jury's out on him. It's early doors for Barron, but I think he's got a great Rangers career ahead of him.
Yeah, I mean, it is still early doors. It's hard to imagine, hard to believe that he's only actually been here for a couple of months. But I say, because that's probably the best compliment you can pay him. So we'll just quickly, because we want to go a few things to talk about.
I'll get that comment in a minute if you remember it, because I want to look at it. But no, let's get the team first. Yeah. Let's carry on what you're saying.
No, so we'll talk about obviously Lawrence scored a great goal. So I thought Rangers an attack. I've said this a couple of weeks now. We're still not clicking. We're still not cohesive, and our chemistry up front seems a little bit off at the moment. I think players are getting played out of position a little bit as well. But Lawrence got the ball at the edge of the kind of between the corner flag and the box, twisted and turned, and had a great unstoppable shot in the corner.
Lawrence now has a problem, and that problem is he's got competition for his place. The boy Berjami can play number 10 and he's a proper number 10. There's times that Lawrence really frustrates me, but I liked Lawrence before signed him for a simple reason. See what you seen at the weekend there, Gordy? Yeah. He's got that in his locker. That finish was outstanding, and it was the only way we were going to win the game. It was. I don't know why it was even looked at as an offside, because as soon as they went to VAR, I'm still sure. It ended up being quite convincingly, but if you look at it like there and then, it was touch and go. It's only when you start looking at different angles it is, it's not. It's only about, I would say, half a foot or a foot on side, but it's not. It ended up being a fairly clear cut at the time. I was a bit worried because I thought myself that's touch and go. But yeah, so if you remember last week,
very, very quickly, we've criticised VAR, but that is a benefit of VAR because if you remember, the linesman actually called it offside.
Aye, and he done it immediately.
Yeah, so
that's a good point.
Yeah, so we criticise VAR when it's due, but VAR got us a goal.
They got it right
on Sunday.
So the problem we've got with the Lawrence scenario, just to answer your question, 3 weeks ago I've been ranting and raving about Lawrence wants 2 and 3 touches before he shoots, but that's why I was saying that. That proves my point. That finish, he doesn't need to stutter. So I think with Lawrence the problem was I think you're right, playing players out of position at times, but also think what we've been doing is rushing players back because we haven't got a full squad and he maybe wasn't full fit, and I think that's affected his mentality in the game. I think he's been playing very nervous. If Lawrence can show that in a game, then that will benefit our midfield, because what a finish. It was the only way we were going to beat them.
Yeah, we need that kind of moment of genius for the goal, and we got it. I don't know, we spent £4 million, we don't have a lot of money right now. We spent, rumoured has it, the best part of £4 million, this attacking midfielder, but I don't think he's played in the attacking midfield role. I think it must be frustrating for him, because if you come into a new club, you want to make an impression. How good an impression can you make when you're I don't think he's got the pace to be an out-and-out winger.
In the Scottish game, certainly no.
Yeah, so it must be frustrating for him. I think he could go on the second half, did okay, but it must be frustrating. And I don't think Lawrence still hasn't got the legs for a full 90 minutes.
Again, Lawrence is a luxury player, is maybe the term for it. If the going gets tough and there's a battle, I would prefer to have guys like Raskin in the team, but Raskin's just not got the ability, he's just got the fight. But I think we need another, we've got to talk about Hadji obviously, but I think we definitely, in the summer, the January transfer window, I still think they'll be looking for.
Okay, yeah.
We missed out the big one, the Lewis Ferguson one, we're never going to be able to live down. That would have been ideal kind of signing for us, but we'll not be able to afford them now. Right, so was that the midfield, anything else in it?
Yeah, no, so that pretty much wraps up the game. I was very concerned with the way we played in the second half. I thought we looked leg heavy, and I don't think we were looking to threaten. We had a couple of chances with a header, and then of course Tadesser's come on. And quick quiz question for you, Simon. How do you miss an open goal for 2 yards?
I know. Well, this is the thing, Dessel seems to be able to, he scores the hard ones, misses the easy ones. I just think the whole second half we didn't look at it at all. God, I honestly think Hibs were a better team in the second half. Yeah. And I dislike the club, but I would have to praise their attitude, the way they came to try and beat us.
They smelled blood, like they were quite apprehensive the first 20 minutes, and we didn't take advantage of that. And then the more the game went on, the more the game went on 0-0, Hibs come into it. We were probably a bit fortunate to win at half time 1-0 up. The Hibs went out the second half and they came into it again. They brought on, I think they were playing with 4 forwards at one point in the second half. So
here's an example, right? 44 minutes into the game, so in the second half, so it's seconds to go, and then this is into the 4 minutes added on, and they get a corner, and everybody in Ibrox is thinking the same thing. Because if they score, I think there was like 30 seconds to go with the corner, was what I was trying to say there. But that, everybody's thinking they're going to be a bit of a sin, because what they were dangerous with was that long throw in. Yeah. I can't remember the guy's name, but that long throw in, we were struggling with that as well. I was just delighted to get away at the end and get the result, but the fans were really dejected when I spoke to people, and I've listened to the social media since then. Yeah,
so I don't think it's performance. However, we have to say a win's a win, a clean sheet's a clean sheet, and we move on to the next game. So if you sum up the performance and result in one sentence, and I'll do the same.
Relief.
Well, that sums it up. I don't have to add to that. Aye, relief.
We need to get better. It's as simple as that, Gordy. We don't want to be criticising the team, and we don't want to be slagging them off. However, let's be realistic here. That was against Hibs. We had a few chances and never took them. We couldn't get them on target or whatever. But we're going to speak about Leon. We've got Spurs, Man United. The man came up. All these things are happening in a couple of months. We've got Aberdeen coming up soon. Now, people, I've seen on social media this week writing off Aberdeen. You can't write off teams that are above you in the league. It's as simple as that. We need to be more clinical in front of goals. It's one thing that we can't do, that Celtic do, and they do it well, is they kill teams off. See, when we go 1-0 up, we go back into our shell. But the Malmo game, we never done that. The Malmo game, we smelt blood, like you said. So maybe European football suits this team better.
Possibly, yeah.
That's a different argument, because it's still early doors in that.
Yeah. So we've got a couple more subjects to talk about. So that's kind of in-depth analysis of the Hibs game.
Again, so tell us if you agree with that or you disagree with it. Let us know.
So we've got some squad news out Ibrox today. So we've had some contract news. So first of all, Dejon Sterling has signed a new contract.
I'm delighted with that.
Yep, and kind of not just bigger news, but probably more surprising news is that the Anis Hadji situation seems to be resolved, and as of next week he'll be back training with the first team. So what's your reaction to Sterling and Hadji agreeing, Sterling agreeing a new contract and then Hadji sorting out his issues? Oh, sorry, Rangers sorting out their issues with Hadji.
Because that's probably a fair comment, the way you've connected that one, because when you look back, it's not the player's fault. You've got an agent, the agent does the business, he says, just say it gets 99 games, and you fulfilled them. That means that you were good enough to play the 99, so you've done your contract. Whoever's got them round the table and fixed it, well done to them. If that's a Rangers official, if it's Hadji's guys, well done, because we don't care. All we care about is the best players that are available.
It's a bit of both sides, and we criticise the chief executives when they're there, when it's due, not all the time, but when it's fair criticism. But we also need to praise as well. So they've come to an agreement, which is good.
I mean, there's a new phrase they've been talking about for the last few months that you never talked about football, and it's constant with Rangers, is paperwork. Right? How many times have we got an issue now with paperwork? but that's been agreed. Hadji's back. Victoria asked a question a couple of minutes ago. She asked, would Hadji be able to play in that system under Clement? I actually think the opposite of what a lot of people think. I think the way that Hadji plays is I think he's exactly the type of player that would fit in.
Remember that we haven't seen Hadji for the best part of 18 months.
Well, the last time I saw him, I'm basing that on.
Because he's injured and then he was on loan at Alaves last season in Spain. So I think that we can't. He's not going to be a saviour. However, I think actually the game against Hibs on Sunday there, when we were crying out for somebody to come on and change the game and the way the game was going,
to replace
I think Hadji would have been a great sub on Sunday to come on.
Aye, so, the other thing you need to remember as well, we haven't seen him playing with Rangers, fair enough, but he's been playing international football.
Yeah, he's a good player. He's got a good shot on him. He's got a good free kick on him. When he's confident, he's a good dribbler as well. He's a good attacking midfielder and he carries a threat. It's just that he's not found that consistency.
Aye, but to answer your question, I'm going to answer your question with a question, and I'll put this out to Davey here. I know who's going to call in. I think if he gets a chance, I don't disagree with when you're saying that he's not going to be a saviour and is he any better than Lawrence was what we were talking about last week and the players that are there. But the sub that came on was Dowell, right? Yeah. Now, if we're going to go into it, is Hadji a better player than Dowell? I would say without a doubt.
I would say so as well. I would say that Hadji's a different player for Lawrence. Lawrence is the kind of player that will probably look to create a pass and a goals an opportunity first and foremost, where Hadji might look to take a shot on. Yeah. So Lawrence does shoot, don't get me wrong, but I think Lawrence's maybe first instinct is to try and set up a goal and assist a goal, where Hadji's first instinct might be to try and get the score sheet himself. So it's a different type of player.
But back to my question, is he a better player than Dowell?
And as a central midfielder, no. As an attacking midfielder, 100% yes.
So I think that, and I hope I'm right with this, because we want to see Rangers doing well, I think he might be the link that we need between Conor Barron and Lawrence. See that gap in the middle of the midfield there? I think he might be the man. But we don't know, we need to give him a chance. But I think, if nothing else, Gordy, we're paying him a wage every week, and he's at the club. It's good that he's available.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the bench we've had in the last couple of weeks, it's been very, very short on players, and it's been full of young kids as well. Now, I'm not against that, but if you're under the cosh at home and you've got 20 minutes to go, you don't even bring on an untested, under 18 player.
I agree with that.
You want to bring on somebody with that experience. So, yeah, and I think the good thing about him coming back into the team is that it gives a bit of freshness, and
it's like a new signing.
You're absolutely right. It's like a new signing. And he'll want to prove his point. And I would probably say that he's probably got a good relationship with some of the players there. The players probably support him. I think he's shown a desire to play for Rangers. I
agree with that. And back to what we've seen earlier on, Gordon, we can't. There's another thing maybe for social media now where everybody's to blame at all the times. He's a player. His agents do the business with Rangers. The player doesn't dictate what the contract rules are. Yeah. I would imagine if you're a player, Hadji said it, I'm taking his word for it, and I'm assuming you're, because what you said there, Hadji's saying, I want to play. Well, that's what I want to hear.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard rumours he was only on 5 or 6 rand a week, which...
Only? I know what you mean.
Well, I mean, I would probably, I would be okay with that, I guess, myself, but it's not actually a lot of money for a Romanian international to play European Championships.
That's a good point,
I don't know, I presume he'd be on more than that, but I think that what I heard was that after 100 games you've got to 20 grand a week. So if that is true and it's a 15 grand difference a week, then you can see with Rangers' point.
Aye, but Rangers shouldn't have agreed to it in the first place. Yeah. But I do agree with you.
However, you'll probably find now he's gone up to 10 grand a week, and then if he plays well, if he hits his target, so Clement's probably said, right, you go and score 10 goals between now and the end of the season. You'll be on 20 grand next season or something like that.
Which I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I like the idea that you get rewarded for doing well, because you should be expected to do well with Rangers. So that's my opinion, guys. Let us know your opinion on that. Remember, put the beers in if you think beers should be back at the football, the wine's in, and the thumbs down if you don't. And we've spoke about the game earlier on, and we've also spoke about Hadji and Sterling.
And a quick shout, we haven't really covered Sterling. I think Sterling's been played out of position, so I think him signing a new contract at this moment in time is an indication that he's here for the long term. Yep. which might have some kind of leading in towards next season.
A young versatile player who's still to play in his correct position with Rangers, I think that's a good move.
So I personally think that this might be Taverniers last season, and the new contract for Sterling might be an indication that he's here for the long term, and he'll be getting from next season. He might be a regular right back.
I agree. So that was that. There's no debate.
There you
on
go. Excellent. Right. Good night.
Aye guys, if anybody's phoning, you need to send the last 3 digits in. Remember, I don't have anybody give me the last 3 digits.
So what we mean by that is, if you want to phone the show in, which you're more than welcome to do, pop your last 3 digits of your phone number
just checking
on
in
the
case
chat
they are on
there, and then we'll be able to speak to you and let us know your opinion.
Aye. I don't have the last 3 digits for that one.
Aye, so as a good friend of the show, we did have Ryan, I think, wanted to phone in, and we did have David phone in. So if either you are watching or listening, if you want to give us a call,
if Ryan first,
we can answer it.
if Ryan wants to go first, I'll send him a text soon, God, if you want to just check.
Okay.
Is there anything we missed with the start there?
No.
I can't multitask, so you need to talk.
That's alright, that's okay. I'm just trying to think about what to talk about, because we don't want to launch that into subject. So we are going to be talking about the next week or so the debate again around alcohol at the football. So if you think that alcohol should be allowed at the football, let us know.
Hello.
Evening, gents.
How you doing, Ryan?
Good, good. Can I say, first of all, thumbs up to the beer?
There you go.
Well, aye.
Is that a surprise?
It's a thumbs up for myself as well, Ryan, to be honest. I mean, let's face it, right, I don't want to prejudge what you're going to say about it, but, you know, people, if it's a 5 o'clock kick-off on a Saturday, I would rather have people, I think Rangers would rather, and us as a club to make money, would rather have people going to the Great Stadium at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, couple of beers, Rangers get the revenue, then into your seat.
Definitely. But on the continent, my experience is that you can get like 2.5% beer when you go to the stadiums as well, so you don't need to be serving as full strength lager, you know, the kids all.
Super lager.
That's a bit strong for Simon, so...
Ryan, you'll be too young to remember this, that used to be called Top Deck. Lager Sandy.
Well, listen, you would drown before you get pitched on it, so who cares?
Yeah,
but
right.
I think that, you know, I think there are moves. There are, you know, some politicians are starting to want it again. I could never see it happening on Old Firm Day, to be perfectly honest. But I think what in England is that you can then drink it in the concourse, but you can't take it to the pitch side, which I think is fair enough. I think that's reasonable.
Yep, definitely.
I'd like to see it back, but it's not something I'm major about because I don't think it's going to happen.
I think what they maybe do is trial it in the maybe lower leagues, whatever first. But I think a fair rule would be right. Up until 3:15, up until 2:30, you can have a drink, you can have it in the concourse, and I think a lot of Rangers fans would go and they would go into the ground early, maybe build the atmosphere up, and they would have a wee drink in the concourse and then go to their seat.
Well, there's another point with that as well, guys, is let's be completely frank here. See if you're going to go to football and get bladdered, whether you can get alcohol in the stadium or no, wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
If that's your intention. Anyway, let's talk about the football.
Yes, absolutely. Looking forward to Thursday.
Aye, I've just put the Europa League sign in the background there. Aye, Thursday nights at Ibrox, it's probably, to be fair, it's a level where I don't know, I think the Champions League was too much for us, and Rangers versus Lyon is going to be a great game.
Definitely. Just got to keep the momentum going. Obviously, last Thursday was a probably unexpected result. You know, I think, you know, anyone who thought we were going to win out there, you know, there's questions on it. So.
Yeah, I was disappointed to hear. I mean, Clement was a little bit downbeat in his interviews about the Lyon.
He's got to be kind of
Sunday. He was a little bit pessimistic. However, I think hopefully he's just trying to be smart and downplay expectations publicly while privately thinking we can get a result. Given, you know, our history in the last 5 or 6 years at Ibrox in Europa League on a Thursday night, I can't actually see it. I don't think why we should fear. And we have had some good results against Lyon in the past kind of 10 years as well. So
I was at the game that won 3-0.
And I don't think that the team we had then is any much better than the team we have just now. So,
I would say we had a better team then, but I would also argue that Lyon were probably better then than they were now.
Lyon are a good team, we've got some good players, but I don't think that, you know, I hate saying this because I shouldn't say this, right, but I would be happy with a draw against Lyon on Thursday and then beating Stoy in a couple of weeks' time at Ibrox, then we get 7 points out of the first 3 games, which I think would be a good turnaround.
Good call, but I think if we get the win next week, then do you know what? The club and the fans are desperate for the feel-good factor, and that would really kick us off, I think, if we could get that result. No matter, I'm not worrying about the performance, just the result.
Yep, it's all about confidence brings wins bring trophies. So 100%. Let's just get it going.
Yeah, and I mean, if we win 1-0 and want it to go, I don't care how we perform, to be perfectly honest. if Leon batter us all day and not score, and then we get a goal in the last minute, you know, it's sod's law. I don't really mind about that.
Another thing for us as well, Ryan, and it probably will happen Thursday because they're going to be a class team. The Rangers getting the clean sheets, no losing any goals in defence. That's definitely building up a bit of confidence with the fans and the defence.
Yeah, definitely. There's a harmony coming between Proper and Suter. And I don't think we've had a settled centre-half pairing for quite a while now.
Yeah.
Obviously, Goldson was the kind of mainstay over the kind of last 5 or 6 seasons that we had him. But how many central defensive partnerships do they have? He had Bassey, he had Hollander, he had Balogun at one point as well. Obviously, Suter last season. We've not actually had a pairing where you would say that's our two guys, and that's the two guys that are going to play every week for us. We've not had that for quite a while now.
Aye. And we've got it now. And obviously as well, Ryan, when you're alluding to that, is we're playing Suter in the right position. He's a right-sided centre half. I couldn't say that.
Yeah. No, we spoke about this yesterday, Ryan. We were talking. I think they're starting to gel as a partnership, and Simon's hitting the nail on the head a couple of weeks now. But plays Suter on the right hand side of defence. I think it's his natural position, and he's starting to play a bit better as well. I
would go as far as to say if Suter can keep up his performances, he'll be the Rangers captain next season.
Aye, yep, definitely. There's a possibility for it. I'm not the greatest fan in the world of a goalkeeper being the captain. There's obviously talk of the rule change that only the captains could talk to the referees, which was trialled not long ago. I think it was the European Championships that maybe it was trialled with, or the Olympics or something that trialled. And obviously Butland seems to be the vice captain at the moment. He took the armband a couple of weeks ago when Tav went off. But how can your goalkeeper run up the other end of the park to be the only guy allowed to talk to the referees?
It's an exceptional point, Ryan, because I was watching Man City 2 weeks ago against Arsenal now, and that very same thing happened. But Kyle Walker, the Man City captain, the referee called him over to chat to him.
Is he the goalkeeper?
No, so he's a right back, and he was out of position, and the referee didn't give him enough time to get
I
back
heard
in
about this
position.
in Talk Sport, right?
So then,
seen that.
So then Arsenal scored for that bit of play. So Man City were absolutely raging. So if you take that, what you're saying with the goalkeeper, what you're saying as well, side with the goalkeeper, it's 10 times worse.
But what's the rule on that? I know I'm not talking about sportsmanship. What is the rule on getting the keeper back? Surely the.
I don't think it's ever been tested, to be honest.
I think it's gamesmanship. You just expect him to do, but you don't have to. So my opinion, guys. We'll let us all have a point on it, and the viewers can put their name in. I'm saying next season Suter would be the captain. Gordy.
I don't know, that's going to be a shock to you, but I can see if Conor Barron keeps his form up for the way he's went this season, I can see him having a shout at it. I know it's probably not going to happen, but a young, energetic, combative midfielder, I'd like to see that kind of person having the captaincy.
Ryan?
Based on his previous experience of being the Hearts captain, I also think he wore the armband during pre-season as well. Yep. I would be happy to go with John Suter as well.
And that's a testament to how well he's been playing this season, and as I said, in his natural position. So, what's your prediction for Thursday? Do you think we'll do it?
First goal's the winner.
Okay,
I hope so.
I will.
Is that a real change?
First goal's the winner. Whoever scores first wins it.
We're up the road for 8:15 on Thursday. Good.
It could be down to nerves. I think Ibrox will be electric. If we get the first goal, I think Ryan's right, we'll win it. If we lose a goal early, you're probably right as well. But we seem to play well on European nights, let's not forget that.
Yeah, we've got the experience in the Europa League runs and Thursday nights. I just pray, and I'm sure they will, but I just hope and pray the majority of the fans are patient, because it's one thing having a bad game against us, not taking chances, but you sort of get that. But when you're playing a team against Lyon, you need to be careful, you need to be cautious, and
can't have any mistakes.
So I'm sure the fans will, and I'm sure we'll go for it, and I'm confident getting a point at least out of the game, and if we can get 3 points, all the better. But as I say, don't be a prophet of doom, but I'd be happy enough with a draw.
It wouldn't be the worst of results. Ryan, I'm going to, just before you finish, mate, I want to run out something by you that we haven't spoken about. It's one of my next topics. Again, football fans, Rangers fans in particular, treated terrible. Mark Aitken's been putting up the fixtures, if you've not seen it. The fixtures are changing, the times are changing, right? So first of all, Rangers are playing on Sunday night, 8 o'clock at Ibrox. So the game finishes just before 10 o'clock. And the Subway have came out, the underground, and said that there will not be any underground on that night, so you won't be able to get him. Before you set on it, Ryan, I would personally urge every Rangers supporter that can do it to support your supporters club. and going to Rangers supporters busted again. What's your thoughts on it, mate?
No, definitely. I mean, I'm not going to see my bed till about 1 in the morning, till after the game. I've got to go down. My journey home involves a bit of a ferry journey and stuff like that, so I'm not going to see my bed till 1 in the morning. I'm obviously annoyed about it. I'll go no matter what. You know, I've had harder journeys following Rangers. I feel for some of the boys that are maybe coming across from Northern Ireland that maybe won't have the opportunity to go home that night. Obviously, a good friend of the show, Elvis, as well. He's not going to see his bed till about 4 or 5 in the morning, he was telling me. So,
Aye. I'm just laughing because it'll be half Canby. By that time, maybe get up the road anyway.
the club vodka will be open by the time he gets back in the bus anyway. But
Also,
no, so
Ryan, sorry mate for interrupting you there, but we're always talking about, on this show, we're always talking about promoting football to kids and the younger generation. How can you expect kids to go to school the next day and be going to football at that time, especially the younger fans?
it's impossible. It's awful. And fans are a second thought in these things as usual.
Yeah, I think we have to be fair to Rangers and say that there is an event happening in Glasgow on Sunday with the half marathon. But you would like to think that surely they could have rerouted that, you know, at least, or, you know, because I mean, unless it's been siren running, it'd probably be done, hopefully done by 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock.
Proper athletes.
Aye. Unless being siren running in it, you know what I mean? But
I'm not going that distance unless there's a flip band in front of me.
And then the subway, or at the very least, they could speak to, you know, I don't even know, SPT or something, whoever runs the subway now. I
think it's down to the players' union, not the players' union, probably the union are saying they don't want to do it.
Right, but you give them extra money. You say to them, right, there's an extra, you know, £5 an hour or something, or whatever it is, or double time for 2 hours, and you get people home. It's a safety issue as well. Remember, it's dark at night as well, and you know, you had the issue in Glasgow a few months ago for a couple of concerts where people, it's embarrassing. You can't get a train after 9 o'clock. So most of the trains are still on a reduced service as well. So a lot of fans will be lucky to even get back to Edinburgh or back to Aberdeen, but you can't get back to Aberdeen. So we really need to urge any Rangers fan to try and support the supporters clubs and get on your local supporters club.
Aye, that's what I can say on the matter. But I just think you're right. The supporters are always last to be thought about. And on this occasion, it's not down to Rangers. It's down to the fact that there's the Scottish half marathon.
Yeah, there could have been a decision made to, you know, come to some sort of arrangement, some sort of agreement. You know, I don't know why. I mean, we could even play the game on Monday night or something. Do you know what I mean? Or Monday night, or
I don't know anybody that's happy with it. Anyway, mate, anything else to add?
No, that's me, guys. Thanks very much for taking my call and enjoy the rest of the show. I'll let David Herd get his chance in now. So, guys, thanks very much.
Will we see you on Thursday, Ryan?
You'll see me Thursday for the pre-match. Yep, I'll be up early, nice and early, get a good car parking space so I can get back from my boat. So,
good man.
I'll be on Thursday pre-match, getting ready.
Okay, take care, stay safe.
We'll see you then, mate. Brilliant.
See you later, guys. Take care.
Excellent.
Okay, thanks very
that
much.
Was good
Ryan.
quality call as well.
So, just while we're waiting for anybody else wanting to phone in, I'll have a wee plug to our absolutely free Spotify channel. So, if you want some good listening, myself and my colleague Ryan.
Hello.
Hello there.
Hi, who's that?
It's David Herd.
How you doing,
Hi,
mate?
David Herd.
I'm just checking that because I've got the name coming up now. How's things, mate?
Not bad, not bad.
Before you start,
No much time for me tonight, have you?
Aye.
Must be new.
We will make time for you, don't worry about that.
We'll make time for a Rangers media legend like yourself. Don't worry
Oh,
about
for
just let you
goodness
and
sake,
Gordy have a wee chat now because Gordy's just on the start of promoting the Spotify that he's doing, and I know you're part of that.
Yeah,
Right.
if only this was scripted, it would have been perfect timing. So yeah, just telling the viewers here, Davey, that we've got a Spotify channel which is totally free content, and recently we've done some match reports and we're doing player ratings every week for the performances, the Rangers games, and we'll do a player of the year at the end of the year. But before that, and we've done some fantastic stuff, David, over the last kind of 12 to 18 months. If you want to give the listeners a quick summary, because you'll probably do it a million times better than me.
Aye, well, we've just covered various aspects of Rangers history, haven't we? So we've done things like great centre forwards, great goalkeepers, the 25-year Cup hoodoo, the Iron Curtain, great Scottish Cup wins, great wins at Parkhead. There's been Walter Tull was probably one of the ones I enjoyed doing the most. Yeah, there's been all kinds of ones, and the great thing about having the world's greatest football club is that there's no end of subjects. There's plenty more we could do.
Well, what I want to do as well, we can put a thing out to listeners now. If anybody would like us to cover a topic that's not been covered then please let us know. We can get together and come up with an idea and plan for it if you like. So if you want to listen to that, please do go on. It's simply we'll put a link up for it shortly. Go on. Couldn't be simpler. It's totally free of charge. And if you go on Spotify and just type in the Gers TV, you'll see every episode, which is free to listen to.
And just a wee plug as well, whilst you're saying this, Davey, I just seen the advert for it. You done the Rangers TV, 125 years Ibrox. I thought that looked magnificent. The small advert that was put on for it.
It was great, yeah. I'm knowing that one. I'm in the Iron Curtain film.
Oh, I must have been drunk at the weekend. I'm sure I watched it.
I'm in the one for the Iron Curtain film.
All right, okay. So I got that one.
I got released on Friday night there by Rangers Television.
Well, that's when I was out, man. The Derek Johnson night. I came home and seen it.
Aye.
That's my excuse.
No, it's brilliant. I've watched it. It's absolutely fascinating, and that's one of our topics on Spotify as well.
So what's
just one wee second. I just need to make a very, very quick comment that our second biggest nation for our Spotify channel is Austria. So we're big in Austria, David.
Oh well, you can maybe start yodeling, follow at the start.
40% of our Spotify audience is from Austria, so we might need to do an Austrian special.
Put another shrimp in the barbie.
We could always talk about players we signed to Austria Vienna or something like that.
Exactly. Right.
Thibaut and Jordan.
Well,
yes.
Just before you say that, I'm actually going to speak to you about that. The Vienna True Blues contacted my friends run them, and Rangers signed a player. I think it was 100 years ago from Vienna, and they're looking to do a wee
Karol Pikarna.
Yeah.
Karol Pikarna. His name's a goalkeeper.
Don't you throw your credentials at me. I was getting them. I've got a big text about it, and the guys are looking to do a kind of promotion, so that's something we can look to the future.
Yeah, that sounds really good.
He was the first foreigner ever in British football, and
wow.
Aye.
Right, I thought he was,
anyway.
I thought he was the first player for Austria, but first foreigner. Perfect. Right, so let's talk about the Fitba.
Yes. Well, there's a couple of things. I suppose obviously Leon's the big thing. Who see if Diamandi doesn't play? Who would you play beside Barron?
Tomorrow night.
After watching Raskin on Saturday, Sunday, I'm not convinced that he's up to speed again with this. And Sterling hasn't impressed me this season. Any time I've tried to play in midfield, I'm struggling to see who's going to play in beside him.
I think it would have to be at the moment Kieran Dillon, which I'm not really too good to say. I'm not really happy to say.
I would say it's probably the manager's biggest decision on Thursday night. Is Diamandi out altogether? Is he?
Well, we don't know. It's just that obviously he missed the game at the weekend. He's meant to be doubtful. It's just I thought he was one of our best players last Thursday night, and I think it's going to be quite important that he actually makes it on Thursday.
Yeah, I think Diamandi's maybe I've always said this about the whole team, but Diamandi's obviously European. He's played for SC Nordjylland in Europe a lot, and I think he's played well in Europe for us. So I think he plays better for us in Europe. So I hope he is fit. But it's a very good question, David, and I'm not sure if Raskin's the answer right now at all. We spoke about that at the start of the show.
I think Raskin's. I think he's finished with Rangers, to be honest. I think if they get an offer from him in January, he's off.
What I would like to see, Lawrence play slightly further back and maybe play as a kind of playmaker in that position with Barron's energy around him, and then playing Buzramin through the middle. I don't see it happening because it's very attacking, but that would be that would be a good solution for me. But I don't see it happening.
And on the point about Sterling, I think the problem with Sterling is the young boy should be playing it right back now, and he probably feels the same as us. You're playing him in different positions all the time, and see a versatile player. It's quite unfair, I think.
I must admit, I'm not quite in that wavelength. The player I want to see playing right back is the Dutch guy.
Oh, right. Is it so?
In all honesty, I think I really like Sterling, but I think he's quite unreliable from a fitness point of view. You get 3 games at him and then he's injured again.
Aye,
I'd actually quite like to see I thought that Dutch boy was terrific at left back last week.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, David.
And I actually think if we... Well, right back's his position.
Yeah, he is a natural right back.
Oh, well, I got that right. I thought he was a left back.
Right back's his position. I actually think it wouldn't surprise me if he's next in the pecking order behind Tavernier rather than Sterling. I think Sterling might be seen more as a midfielder or a right-sided midfielder.
I forgot to talk about him because the full-backs have been good recently that have came into the club, and I actually think there's a lot of potential with him. What I like about most of all, he tends to be one of the players where the opposing winger, doesn't he? He might have what you could call a quiet game, but what he's doing is he's nullifying the opponent. and he's very reliable.
Yeah, I think he was solid the other night against Malmo, and I was surprised he didn't start actually the game on Sunday, but he was very solid. Who do you think? Sorry, I've lost my train of thought. I was just going to ask you. What's your thoughts on Czerny so far this season, David? We had a bit of chat about Czerny so far. What's your thoughts on him?
I'll be honest.
2-1 fitted.
I think he's probably a good technical player, but I just don't think he's creative enough.
Okay.
I think he'll keep possession, but I don't think he'll beat a fullback very often. I don't think he'll hit the byline very often. I don't see him offering any more than young McCausland so far, but early days.
And the thing is with McCausland, he had a few shaky games for Rangers, but he's learned from them. That's what I like about him. He's learned from his mistakes. He's far more direct now.
Yeah, I think one
anyway,
thing that was lacking was adding goals to his game, but he's done that on Thursday night for us, and he's come on and had a wee effort on Sunday. So if we don't, if you're old enough, if you're good enough, you're old enough, in my opinion.
I actually think McCausland would be quite good with that Dutch guy behind him.
Yeah.
Because I think that gives a bit of defensive solidity behind him and lets McCausland actually get forward better.
No, I agree with that. 100%.
Okay, anything you'd like to bring up, David? Anything you'd like to ask?
Well, I'll try and be positive. So, the last twice, we've only ever played Leon twice at Ibrox in European competition. We've lost to two of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's not very positive. But actually, we got to the final both seasons.
Yeah, that's you're absolutely right.
I heard that on the talk sport today.
Yeah, you're absolutely right on that. So on that.
So if we get beaten Thursday, then don't panic. Is what I'm trying to
say. So what's your prediction on that note? David, probably let you go tonight. What's your prediction for Thursday night score wise?
1 each.
1 each. Fair enough.
1 each.
Yeah. To be honest, I'm probably happy. I'll be happy with that. So.
I would be delighted if we could get a clean sheet, but they're good opposition. It is what it is. But I think that if Rangers can get a result next on Thursday night, I would be very confident he's qualifying for the next stage.
I mean, I think we've got an away win already in the bank. This is one of our hardest games coming up. If you get a draw with that, we're playing the Romanian team next to Ibrox. Yeah. Win that game, you would have 7 points out of 9. I think that'd be a tremendous position to be.
Yeah, and I kind of spoke about that 10-15 minutes ago. I couldn't agree more, and I'd be delighted with that because I didn't see us getting a win in Malmo. So getting 7 out of 9 in the first 2 games, I think would put us in a really strong position. Aye,
100%. And Davey, you came up for Largs just to get your opinion on this 8 o'clock kick after Sunday night. How can that be encouraging to get to the younger generation?
Actually, I was actually laughing earlier on. I saw it said that the subway was off.
Aye.
Did you know what time the last train to where I live is on Sunday night?
9 o'clock.
The last train, not 20 to 8.
That's horrific. Yeah, that's what I mentioned that briefly a minute ago, but not a minute ago. Sorry,
so
but a few.
You actually need to catch a train 20 minutes before the game starts.
That's crazy.
That's just that's your well. Let's not let the politics on here at the moment, but. That's what we're saying. I mean, there was concerts in Glasgow over the summer that people couldn't get home from, and you can't get a train, through the week the best of times, but a Sunday it's horrific, and it's a health and safety issue as well.
It's not just that, but we're trying to, not just us, in general, we try and encourage people to watch football. Now, I listen to Talk Sport, or any time I watch English football on the telly, the first thing they tell you is it's the best league in the world. We go out of our way to put people off football.
I just think unless you're going to supporters bus on Sunday or unless you're driving, you're not going.
So aye, simple as that. Aye.
I think you're lucky for 35,000 there, and it's all down to this ridiculous kick-off thing. Rangers should be looking for some money extra money after television companies for them.
Yeah. Aye, no, I agree with you. It's off-putting, and the fact of the matter is, see if it's really cold or raining, and the game's finished with 10 minutes to go, the crowds will leave to get him.
And the other thing is, it'll do It's bad news for all the pubs and the places round about, the shops that make money in match day because there'll be less folk there.
Aye.
No, absolutely. It's got a massive knock-on effect as well in the local economy. You're absolutely right.
Incredible. But anyway, mate, great to hear from you again. We're going to start with Rangers Mastermind next week if you're up for it.
Hopefully, I'll give you a bell at the weekend. Make sure I can come up next week.
Good man.
Excellent.
Okay, David, thank you so much for all your
contributions
as well as Gers TV, and thank you for phoning in tonight.
No problem at all. All the best, pal. Cheers. Speak to you soon.
Cheers.
Right, bye.
And that takes us to 1 minute past 8, Gordy.
Okay, so
it's been a long day, so
yeah.
we just want to quickly recap.
Yeah, jam-packed show. So obviously Rangers beat Hibs 1-0. There's talk about alcohol, possibly. There's moves behind the scenes to try and see to get that debate going as well. Rangers squad news today: Sterling and Hadji have resolved. Well, Sterling signed a new contract, and Hadji and the club have resolved the issues there. And we've got a massive game on Thursday to look forward to. So we're reasonably confident given our form in the last 4 games with clean sheets. And I'm super excited about Thursday, Simon. I don't know about you, but I'm super excited.
Aye, it's great being back at Ibrox. We've spoken about that, we've done that to death, so we're not going to go on about it. But back at Ibrox for a European night,
yeah,
that's magic to me.
First European night at Ibrox for a while. First of the season at home. At Ibrox, as we say, Europa League, there's something special about a Thursday night. So the Gers TV shall see you on Thursday for a big pre-match show. I hope you can join us then.
100%.
And always remember, Simon,
we are
the people.